Imagine the two largest and most influential city-states in the Mediterranean fighting one of the most memorable wars in history that lasted over 10 years. Movies are still made about this epic war, and people still make references to these two amazing civilizations. My name is Alice Lee, and today I'm going to share with you, fellow friends and teachers, the story of two completely different cities who fought to become the most powerful city-states in the Mediterranean. I wanted to start off my presentation by giving you some background information about both Sparta and Athens. Sparta was created in 900 BC and was located in the southeastern part of Greece. Sparta had a lot of slaves. 1 in every 25 people were slaves. The government system had to adapt to ensure that Sparta stays under rule and control. In 510 BC, Athens developed the first democratic government system in history. Athens were named after the Greek goddess Athena. The word democracy comes from the Greek words demos and kratos. Demos means people and kratos means rule. Literally, democracy means people's rule. Although there were a lot of people, only some of them were citizens. Athens grew to be powerful through its control of the sea. They brought in food and foreign goods from as far east as England and as far west as India. Athenian lifestyle was well-rounded, focusing on art, music, and entertainment. Sparta and Athens were the two most powerful city-states in the ancient world. However, they had completely different approaches on how to develop military power. In Sparta, military power was everything. From the age of 7, boys would leave their houses and start a government-run training program which focused on physical strength. They would run, box, and learn to fight. Meanwhile, in Athens, everything was different. Athens relied on their shipbuilding and naval power to win wars and respect from neighboring city-states. Boys were trained in many areas, including art and music. The differences between the military systems in Sparta and Athens are stunning. Two systems with nothing in common, yet both city-states grew to be the most feared city-states in the ancient world. Sparta's governmental system was an oligarchy. This means that a body of people made all the choices. Sparta's oligarchy had 2 kings, 5 ephors, and 30 senators. Now let's take a look at Athens. Athens developed the first democracy in history. Today, democracy is common, but back in these ancient times, democracy was a breakthrough in thinking. Although Athens was a democracy, only men had the right to vote. They voted using colored blocks, which was placed in large pots on election days. For example, let's say that we were having an election day at JLS, and red colored blocks represented Lucy and blue colored blocks represented Sarah. If you wanted Sarah to become the leader, you would place the blue block in the pot. What color block would you choose? Once again, we can see that Sparta and Athens have completely different governmental systems. However, both managed to become wealthy and powerful city-states. Moving on, let's take a look at the education systems of the two city-states. Sparta was focused on training citizens to fight. The number 1 priority was to educate men to fight in the military and protect and conquer other parts of Greece. Men and women were taught to read and write, but the most important thing was physical education. Boys and girls would compete in sports events such as javelin throwing, discus, foot races, and pretend warfare. While strict and harsh military education went on in Sparta, Athenian education was much different. They focused on a well-rounded education, studying everything from arts to music to writing and sports. Which education do you prefer? So far, we have explored many differences between these two iconic city-states. The last issue I want to talk about is the differences in women's roles. In Sparta, women were given more rights than anywhere else in Greece. They could own property, participate in sports, were offered a strong education, and had the ability to remarry. Although this does not seem amazing to us, for their time it was very controversial. While women were given more rights in Sparta, they were not in Athens. Women could not vote in Athens. They had to make family clothes, and they did not learn to read and write. Many people think that Athens was very advanced in their thinking. However, in women's roles, Sparta was definitely more advanced. I hope you had an enjoyable time listening to my presentation about two most important city-states in ancient times. You may be wondering what happened to them. From 404 BC to 431 BC, they were involved in the huge war that lasted over 27 years. In the end, Sparta won the war. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Any questions?
Do you have any questions? Because like we mentioned earlier. Okay, Peter.
Do you want to live in Sparta or Athens?
I would prefer Sparta because I really like sports and I would like to fight actually, so. Any other questions?
What about you, Peter? Would you live in Sparta or Athens?
Athens.
Athens? Why?
More comfortable.
More comfortable? You don't have to be so competitive? Any other questions? Remember, participation. Okay, Ryan.
Alex, why do you think Sparta ended up winning the war?
I think because they were really harsh in the military kind of thing, so I think they won the war. Any other questions?
So they were more prepared as far as military.
Thank you.